In honor of the unofficial holiday of Christmas in July that's celebrated in July every year to remind yourselves that there's only 5 months left in the year until Christmas in December, the book that I'm going to be reviewing today will be focused on the holiday of Christmas. The book that I'm going to be reviewing today is called The Littlest Christmas Elf. It was written by Nancy Booth and illustrated by Terry Super. The story begins in a village near the North Pole called Elfin Corners. The elves who live there are very excited as one of their fellow elves, a small elf named Alistair, has been selected to work in Santa Claus's workshop for his cheerfulness and how very special he is. The mayor of Elfin Corners makes a speech, saying how Alistair will be truly missed in their village, and how lucky Santa Claus will be to have a very special elf like Alistair to work for him. The whole village bids Alistair farewell, and Alistair heads off to Santa's workshop. Once Alistair gets there, though, he is met with cold reception by the other elves who work there. Because Alistair is the tiniest elf there, he struggles with pretty much any of the jobs that are given to him. For instance, Alistair struggles to hold the hammer while trying to build a wagon, and gets buried under the stuffing while trying to stuff some teddy bears given to him. Reading this part of the book, I felt nothing but sympathy for Alistair. I can tell that he's really trying to be a good contributing member of Santa's workshop, but his limitations because of his stature really hinder his efforts. This part was also strange to me. Usually elves are depicted as all being the same small size in various movies, books, and TV shows. Why are they all different sizes in this story? My guess is the author did this in order for the story to work. Things get worse for Alistair, as even when given the task to do some sweeping around the shop with a broom, he struggles to do this job because of his very small size. The other elves begin to laugh and ridicule him, even going as far as to say that Santa Claus will reject Alistair and send him back to the village where he came from. Trying not to cry, Alistair quickly leaves the workshop, thinking that Santa Claus will not send him away, because Santa will never see him. He finds a place to hide behind the woodpile, behind the reindeer pen. It was at that moment that Alistair meets a very old elf named Littlest, and he asks Alistair to help him take care of the reindeer. He says yes, and the two of them begin to work together. It isn't long before Alistair and Littlest become good friends, and it makes Alistair very happy, and his life much better at Santa's workshop. They work at the reindeer stable. Littlest tells Alistair stories, is very supportive of him, and the two of them sing songs to the reindeer. Aw, isn't this so sweet to see? I feel so happy for Alistair that he found someone who truly loves him. But there's a very nice surprise about Littlest that we'll find out later in the story, so stay tuned. However, one morning Alistair goes to the reindeer stable and finds that Littlest isn't there. He is told by one of the grumpy elves that Littlest is at the big house where Santa Claus lives. Alistair figures that Littlest must be sick if he has to stay in the big house, which Alistair finds to be scary. That night, Alistair becomes so worried about Littlest and misses him so much that he decides to go to the big house and visit him the next day. Feeling nervous, Alistair walks to the big house with a basket of fruit in hand. As soon as he hears someone come out of the big house, Alistair gets frightened and hides underneath a tree. But someone does find him under there, and can you guess who it is? Why, it's Littlest, and it turns out that he's just fine, not sick. Littlest explains that the week before Christmas has been so busy that he hasn't had time to look after the reindeer with Alistair. He invites Alistair to go inside the big house to talk to him. Still frightened, Alistair refuses to go in and explains that if Santa Claus sees him, Santa won't like him and send him back to the village where he came from because he's too small and can't do anything right. Littlest doesn't believe him and tells Alistair that he's been a big help and has a special job for him to do. This job consists of helping Littlest, keeping him company while he delivers the toys to all the children of the world. They could sing songs and tell stories like they have been doing at the reindeer stable. Have you figured out who Littlest really is? If you said Santa Claus, you are absolutely right. Upon discovering who Nicholas really is, Alistair is shocked beyond words and then decides that he is not afraid of Santa Claus anymore. Realizing how nice Santa has been before when Alistair known him as Nicholas, he agrees to accompany Santa Claus on his big trip around the world to deliver the toys, and it turns out to be the best Christmas Eve that Alistair and Santa Claus has ever had. The end. My final thoughts on this book. I must say, this is one of the sweetest stories I've ever read. I absolutely love the friendship between Alistair and Nicholas/Santa Claus, and it really helped to show Alistair that he's truly worth more than the other elves made him out to be. This story is clearly based on the well-known Christmas song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where the main character has a unique difference of some sort. The other characters ridicule him or her until someone nice and special comes along and makes the main character feel special and important in one way or another, overcoming his or her insecurities and bad self-esteem, and living happily ever after in the end. In this case, it's an elf dealing with his very small stature, getting ridiculed for it, and being given friendship and a very special job that makes him feel very useful and special in the end. Alistair is truly a lovable character for his personality, work ethic, and sweetness. It's hard not to like him reading this book, and it was hard for me to read the parts where the other elves insult and bully Alistair in every way possible. My main criticism with this story is that I feel like there could have been more resolution in terms of the other elves that ridicule Alistair. In this story, in the aforementioned Christmas song, when Rudolph is given a special job of guiding Santa's sleigh, the other reindeer love him and find value in him, no longer ridiculing him. Here in this story, however, the elves ridicule Alistair whenever we see him, and last we ever see them in the stories when Alistair asks one of them where Santa Claus/Nicholas is, and is given a snide-sounding answer. I feel like it would have been better if Nicholas/Santa Claus witnesses the elves bullying Alistair and politely but firmly stands up for Alistair, making the other elves change their bullying ways and make the atmosphere nicer in the workshop. I think it would have sent a nice message within the story that bullying anyone, regardless of their appearance, ability, etc., is never acceptable. As it is in the story, it made me wonder, if Santa Claus is known for knowing everything, wouldn't he know about the other elves bullying Alistair and do something about it? What do I think of the illustrations in this story? Well, I think they're absolutely gorgeous. They really capture the cheery atmosphere of Santa's workshop, as well as the various areas of the North Pole. The characters are very expressive, and the body language of each of them further enhances their feelings as well, I think. Every time I look at these illustrations, they bring me the cheery, peaceful atmosphere of the holiday of Christmas, and I think they can do that for anyone who reads the story, I think. Overall, would I recommend this book to others? I absolutely would. It's not a perfect book, but I think it does its job well of bringing a nice moral of how much you are truly worth in life, regardless of how others treat you, and that nobody should be bullying you for whatever reason. If you can overlook the fact that there is no resolution with the other elves, which I'm willing to do because this story is so wholesome, I think this book is a decent reading to kids or by yourself around Christmas time, or really like any time of the year where you need some Christmas cheer. So if you can find this book, pick it up and give it a read for yourself. I hope you enjoyed my review of The Littlest Christmas Elf. If you have any suggestions for future book reviews on my channel, feel free to leave them for me in the comments below. Please comment, share my video, and subscribe to my channel as well. Have a nice day, everyone, and thank you very much for watching.